Assalamualaikum and hi everyone.
My name is Mimi Asmina binti Mazlan.
And my name is Nabiha binti Muhammad Setafarzi.
And I am Atira Shamimi binti Asli.
And we are from Faculty of Education, TESOL.
Today we're going to talk about
reading culture problems among students.
Mimi Asmida.
Nabiha. What are you doing here?
I trying to find a book to read.
Oh, you love reading, huh?
Yes.
Well, if you love reading, do you know what is reading?
Reading is a processing of contextual information so that you can have the intended meaning of phrases, sentence, and words.
Oh, so you're saying that you're implying a reading culture, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh.
But what is reading culture?
Oh, reading culture. I think I need a note for that. Okay, first, reading culture is the collective attitudes, belief, and behavior of all the stakeholders in a school regarding any and all of these activities associated, which enable all learners to read at the highest level of attainment for both the academic and personal gain. So it means that students not only read for academical purposes, but also read to gain their knowledge of outside of your other than your school life.
Okay.
But we have problem with it.
Problem? What problem?
Problem of reading culture.
But do you know what is the meaning of problem?
I'm not sure. What is it?
So the meaning of problem is difficulties, troubles, and issues.
Oh, okay.
Hey guys, what are you doing here?
Hi. But we are discussing about problem of reading cultures among students.
Oh, you mean difficulty of making reading as a norm of life among students?
Yeah.
I see. Do you guys want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's go. Okay.
Oh, hi. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is why we read. So, why we read? Have three things to know about it. First is because we have to survive. Well, reading sometimes helps you to save your life. For example, if you have a fire breaks down, so you have to read at least something how to turn off the fire. Or maybe you lost in a highway or you in a rural place. So you need to read a signboard to make sure that you're not lost. Okay? So the second one will be to gain knowledge. Okay. To gain knowledge is actually sometimes students tend to read only at school, so we have to read outside of the school to gain knowledge, not because of academic purposes, but to know about everything in the world, to know what is in the world, to know what happened to the world. So it is important to know all the knowledge in this world. Okay, so the third one will be reading for pleasure. Okay, so reading for pleasure is actually to help you to gain other knowledge, because sometimes when you are so bored at home, you're not only sleeping, you're not only eating, that can cause you to gain weight, but you also can read to fill up your free time. And not only you read, but you have all the entertainment, all to gain, not only to gain knowledge, but to create your imaginative, to create your creativity. But when you read, you will imagine a lot of things. So it is important to read as a pleasure. Okay, so that is why we read. First, survival skill, to gain knowledge, and also for pleasure. Okay, it's me again. So right now I'm gonna talk about the reading problems that causes the problem of reading cultures among students. So the first one will be the student competencies is low. Okay, as we all know that most of the students in school, they have a low proficiency in reading. Because they don't know how to read. They don't know where to read. They don't been asked to read, or maybe the teacher or the parents don't ask them to read or teach them to read. So because of these factors from the environment, they don't really have motivation to read, because sometimes we need someone to give us support to read, and that is why competencies is low between students is the first factors why they don't read. Okay, so the second one will be students being classified through classes according to the capability to read. Okay, well, in Malaysian, I take that as an example. First class will be the smartest student. The last class will be the low proficiency student. So in every school, they have syllabus to finish up at the end of the year. But how about the low proficiency students that have to finish up the syllabus? It's not fair to give them the same syllabus as the smartest student to the low proficiency student, because smarter students, they know how to read, they know what to read, and they don't have any problem to read. But the last class, they will have any problem, they don't have any time to finish the syllabus, because at the end of the year, the teacher wants to know what the result is. They don't really care whether the students really read it efficiently or effectively. So that is the problem that causes the problem of reading culture among students.
I didn't see you there. Okay, so the next one is reading disability. What is reading disability? This is related with the students' visions and also hearing impairments. So, what do you think if they cannot see well to read? It will be such a problem, right? So, they have to recover this problem. Students first need to have a very good eyesight to read. So this will motivate them to read more. Teachers should not be forcing them to read because this will make them have a low motivation to read. Okay, so the next one is physical attribute. What is mean by physical attribute? Okay, physical attributes means that it is related with their emotions and also environment. If they are so stressed and they have so many problems, such as problems with their friends, problem with their family, so this will create a problem for them to not enjoy to read, because when they are under pressure, of course everybody would not like to read if they have so many things to think. And the next one is intelligence. So what is related to reading with intelligence? Teachers tend to see that only the end result of the student, but teacher not willing to see the hard work of the student itself. So basically it says that teacher will not teacher see only the result, but all the hard work of the students, teacher cannot see it. So this will make the students have a low motivations to read.
Okay, so I'm going to continue about the problems faced by the students. Okay, so the problems, one of the problems is the students may have limited sources of reading. Okay, for example, we have lots of books here, but can you imagine what will happen to the rural areas? Students, they maybe have a mini library in their school, but still the amount of books cannot cater the amount of students there, so they may have not enough of books to read. Okay, so the second one is the teacher lack of instruction training. Okay, what I mean by lack of instruction training is that some teachers are not trained properly to teach the students how to read. They don't know how to teach the students. They don't know when to teach the students to read, because teachers nowadays are too busy with works at the office rather than teaching the students itself. So the students may not know how to read, when to read, and what should they read. Okay, so for the last problem is the different context. Okay, for example, this book that I have taken from this library is 1001 Ideas for Science Projects. Okay, so as a language learner and science students, they might have different understanding on a certain language and certain books. For example, in this book, I might not understand the meaning of dioxins, because this is only be learned by the science students. But for me, as a language learner, I might understand anything that are related to the language. For example, maybe a storybooks or novel. I might understand it better than anyone else. So these problems have happened in our country and maybe other parts of the world. So there are few solutions that we need to have to help these students facing this problem.
So Mimi,
Yes.
what is the conclusion?
Okay, so for the conclusions, as we have discussed before, there are 8 problems that are faced by the students in reading culture, which are
The first one will be low competency among students. The second one, students are divided through classes according to their capability to read.
Reading disabilities, physical attributes, intelligent,
limited sources of reading, teachers lacking of instruction, and different contexts. Okay, so as for all of us, we are the future teachers, so we have to contribute in brainstorming the idea to help the students achieve the benefits that we have already achieved. Do you agree with that, Mimi?
Of course. So I think that's all from us in this assignment. I hope all of you have will gain some knowledge.